Nice. Let's bolt into this review.
Welcome to Autobot Arcade.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Autobot Arcade here, bringing you another Transformers review. This time it's the Transformers Age of the Primes Aerialbot Silverbolt. But before we do, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Autobot Arcade and Autobot Arcade Reviews. But without further ado, let's get into this review. Starting with the packaging, as usual, it's pretty much the same, just much bigger and no window on the front. But the logo is still on the bottom and the artwork above spans the whole front of the box, with some of the 13 primes on the side, and on the back we have him in vehicle mode, robot mode, as well as him with the battle station, and we also have him in superjet mode and combine mode. And finally on the other side we have an image containing some digital renders of his combined form Superion. And here he is out of the packaging. But before we take a closer look at him, who is Aerialbot Silverbolt? Silverbolt is the almost fearless leader of the Aerialbots, a subgroup of the Autobots. His big secret is that he has an intense fear of heights, even though he turns into a Concorde and flies through the sky. He was appointed leader by Optimus Prime in hopes that looking after a team would distract him from his phobia. He, along with the other Aerialbots, were created on Earth when Optimus asked Vector Sigma to bring life to a new team of air warriors to combat the Decepticon Seekers and Combaticons. He, along with the other Aerialbots, combine to form the combiner Superion, in which he becomes the torso of the powerful combiner. Here he is in his robot mode, and looking pretty cool, and very faithful to the source material. He's mostly this light grey plastic, which does make him look a bit dull, but there is some orangey yellow on the upper legs, as well as some black on the feet, and some red on the sides of the legs, as well as on the chest. Turning him around, and for the most part, he is pretty accurate. The wings are in the right place, and the only drawback is the front part of the jet hanging out here. But I don't think it's the worst backpack I've ever seen, and from the front you can't really see it, so it's an okay backpack from me. But coming back round to the front, he's very nicely detailed. I know that back in the cartoon they weren't super detailed, but it's nice to have it just to break up the flat plastic. Especially looking at the belt area, he has a lot of nice panel lines and dips, and up on the chest he has what looks like some intake vents either side, which adds some nice depth, and the panels continue up on top of the chest as well, and on his right chest area he has a nice Autobot logo. Both shoulders have what look like mini wings. They don't become anything in vehicle mode, they're just here for the robot mode, and even down on the lower arms we have some subtle line work, so there isn't really any part of this guy that looks flat or boring. His feet do look a bit blocky and have a stiff joint to them, but that's to help in the combined mode, seeing as these will become the connection point for the shoulders. And on the back of the legs there is some hollow areas that I do wish could be filled in, but that's due to transformation, and again it's on the back so you aren't really going to see it. But I do think for the price you're paying for this guy, there could have been some sort of panel that covered that up. Taking a closer look at his upper body and head, we can see all that nice detail sculpted in, and the Autobot logo here on the right of him. His head, much like a lot of the G1 characters, has that bucket design, and it's cast out of that same light grey plastic that the rest of him is. But the face itself has a nice expression on it, and is painted in silver with some blue for the eyes. This is the one thing that I like more about collecting the Marvel figures and the Transformers figures, is there is interchangeable heads to give different expressions. I would have liked to have seen one where he looks a bit scared. As we know from the cartoon, he was originally scared of flying, even though he turns into a jet. So I would have just liked to have some sort of other expression. It's a nice face, but it's not really doing that much. But overall, a nice figure with not too many flaws. Inside the box he comes with the instruction manual, just like all the other figures we take a look at. And as for accessories, he comes with this thing. First up, we have Silverbolt's main weapon. Just cast out of black plastic. It does have these mini wings on the side which look nice, and seeing as he is an Aerialbot, it fits quite nicely. There is some line work on it so it doesn't look flat, and there is a handle and a tab on the underside, but no paint on it to highlight any of the details. And now onto this, and it looks like it's supposed to be some sort of turret or sentry tower or base mode that he can stand behind and fire from, but it just sort of looks like a load of random pieces pushed together to make a mess with a gun on top. If we bring him in, he can stand behind it and it doesn't look too bad, but in my opinion this is definitely the throwaway mode. As we all know, it's just the pieces of the combiner, and I think it would have been cooler if they'd tried to make the runway like the older versions of this character did. Even turning it to the side, you can just see gaps and bits that don't seem to fit. I mean, from the back, the hands are just there. And right in the middle of this mode, there's a massive hole that I wouldn't have thought that would be good for a defense against blaster fire. If we remove the blaster from the top, this will be the weapon used by Superion eventually, and it does look good, but some parts of it seem to have been cast out of the same light grey plastic, but then painted over in solid black, so it's mainly all just one colour again, which I don't understand why they would just paint it solid black when it was cast out of a different colour. Just cast it in that black. But there are some decent details on it, and it does have some hinges, which does take away slightly. That is for the Superjet mode to fold up and combine to it. He can hold both weapons, just like so, although the big one does look a little odd as it's meant for Superion. For articulation, the head can spin all the way around, as well as look down and up. The shoulders can come out to the side, go back and go forwards. There is a swivel at the upper arm and a bend that goes just past 90. The wings on the back can move, and he has a waist swivel as well, but it is hindered due to the backpack. The legs can come out to the side, go back this far, forwards this far if you move the skirt piece out of the way. There is a swivel at the upper leg and a single jointed knee, but due to transformation you can actually get a double jointed knee to just give it that bit of extra articulation. The feet can go up and down, but the hinge is quite stiff as this is one of the connection points for the combiner, and there's a nice pivot at the ankle. For some vehicle mode size comparisons, here he is next to the Transformers Rise of the Beast Bumblebee, the Transformers Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, the Gamer Edition Ratchet, the G1 Commander Class Optimus Prime, nice to see two commanders next to each other, his brother Aerialbot's Slingshot, and of course Air Raid, until we get the other two, the New Age Optimus Prime, the Marvel Legends Captain America Sam Wilson, and finally the Star Wars Black Series Shaq-T. But without further ado, let's get down to transformation. And here he is in vehicle mode, and looking very nice, and just like the jet he's supposed to be based off of, the Concorde. As you can see, there is some robot bits hanging out on the underside, and the head for Superion is just there for all to see. But for a jet mode character that is based on a very streamlined jet, I don't think it's too bad. And there isn't much they could do about it. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have all the characters, I'm going to be displaying them in combined mode. So this doesn't really bother me too bad. But from the top, he doesn't look too bad, apart from the bits of the feet that are hanging out. The jet mode parts, though, do look very nice, and I love that the nose can tilt down, just like with the real Concorde. I don't know if that's on purpose or just a happy coincidence, but I do like it. All the windows on the front and going along both sides are painted with this gold to make them stand out, and on both wings there is a nice big Autobot logo, with some nice grooves and panel lines around them that look like real bits from a jet that would actually move and whatnot. The only downside from the top view is that there is some pretty visible hinges for everything to fold away in robot mode, but that's just a minor nitpick. If we flip him over, then we can fold down the skirt pieces to become the rear landing gear, and on the underside of Superion's head is the front landing gear. All the wheels are fake, so none of them roll, but they look okay when deployed. However, they aren't that practical. The jet is still quite wobbly and unstable when they're deployed, and the front landing gear especially can just collapse and fold in, causing the whole thing to topple forward. If we bring in the accessories, Silverbolt's weapon can be attached to the underside of the nose using the gun handle and this port, giving him something to shoot as he soars through the sky. And if we bring in the block of parts, then it can be transformed and combined to him. To make his super jet mode. And this thing is ridiculous and huge, and you're not going to be doing much with it, but I actually really like this mode just for how big and silly he looks now. There is no doubt that both the turret and this mode are just, here's something to do with the combiner parts because it's a transformer and it needs to do something. But out of the two alternate modes, this is my favourite. The only thing that could have made this any better for me would have been if you could connect some of the other jets to it to make it like a carrier, but due to the way the certain parts connect, the tabs that will be used to combine the jets to the sides of the arms are visible, but not all of them are accessible. But it's a fun mode and I do enjoy just swooshing it about. For some vehicle mode size comparisons, here he is next to the Transformers Rise of the Beast Bumblebee, the Transformers Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, the Gamer Edition Ratchet, the G1 Commander Class Optimus Prime, some of the other Aerialbots, Slingshot, and of course Air Raid as well. And then we have the New Age Optimus Prime, as well as the Marvel Legends Sam Wilson Captain America, and finally the Star Wars Black Series Shaq-T. And here he is in combine mode, and looking awesome. He follows the same skeleton design as Menasor did, which I think is the best way they have made to combine the figures, and definitely makes them a lot sturdier, and I think it makes it more accurate, rather than having figures that have 3 modes and at least one of them will suffer due to it. And some of the old combiners, the characters were just in their vehicle mode, stuck to the side of the arms or the front of the legs, rather than forming into whole limbs that look less accurate, just like some of the old combiner figures did. But as cool as he does look, that's all the time we're going to spend on him, as there will be a separate video just for him later on when we have all the pieces and we can properly take a look at him. And that wraps up our review of the Transformers Age of the Primes Commander Class Aerialbot Silverbolt. A very nice, very accurate looking figure, with some really nice details and only a few minor issues. And definitely a nice addition to the Aerialbot collection, and for any collectors looking to build Superion, a must have, as he is the main part to join them all together. But with that said, before Silverbolt gets over his fear of flying and bolts out of here, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, click the subscribe button if you want to see more Transformers reviews, and if you enjoyed this review, why not leave a comment down below and tell me if you're looking forward to completing Superion. And until next time, transform and roll out.